Today on Delta Safari, Luke and I give you our top 5 outdoor podcasts. I'm your host, Stu Donald. Let's head for the Delta. Hi, welcome to Delta Safari. I'm your host, Stu Donald. Luke and I here have put together some top 5 lists that we're going to be sharing with you over the coming weeks. It's going to be like top 5 YouTubers for camping, top 5 YouTubers for fishing, and what we're going to start with this week, which is our top 5 outdoor podcasts. Yes, sir. I'll tell them. These top 5 lists are some of the shows that have influenced us the most and have really kind of blazed a trail for others. So let's take a look at that top 5 list, outdoor podcast. What do you say, Luke? Before we get started with the first top 5 list, I want to go over my methodology for determining the ranking. You'll find that it is both simplistic and scientific. I just go through my history and see which ones I've spent the most time streaming. Simple as that. Alright, let's get started with number 5, Paddle and Fin. Paddle and Fin is your go-to for fishing, kayaking, and outdoors talk. Hosted by a group of anglers from beginners to advanced who have come together to share their experiences and tell their guest stories. They want to share their journey and experiences along the way. They try to bring guests in from all aspects of the outdoors community. The goal is to help grow the sport of kayak fishing and bring you some of the best information out there, whether you are a beginner or an advanced angler. Outdoor podcast number 4, The Outdoor Podcast. During the summer of 2015, AJ was invited on a weekend guys float trip. 12 late 20s, early 30-somethings gathered at a canoe rental company in southern Missouri, eager to start their adventure. They traveled at the pace of the river. They drank beers, told stories, and created new memories as the day went by. Rope swings were tested, cliffs were braved, and meals were cooked over handcrafted wooden fires. That weekend sparked a great passion in AJ for spending more time in the great outdoors. Since that weekend, he has jumped headfirst into backpacking, hiking, camping, and even fly fishing. AJ has even purchased a 30-year-old Class A motorhome with his girlfriend, and they hope to travel the western United States with their 2 dogs. Now we're getting into the meat of the list with number 3, Campfire Chronicles. Get used to hearing about these guys. Campfire Chronicles is the podcast companion to the massively popular YouTube series Adventure Archives, hosted by brothers Andrew and Brian Lynn, their cousin Robbie Hong, and childhood friend Thomas Sonari. The guys dish out stories from escapades, tips on backpacking and hiking, gear discussions, and they even go in detail on the creative process. In case you have not seen Adventure Archives, they are stunningly beautiful documentaries that they shoot while on epic adventures. They also write and perform all of their own music. With Campfire Chronicles, what you get is the 4 guys away from the beautiful vistas and just sitting around a table discussing life on the trail. And it really gives a chance for their personalities to shine through. Let's move on to number 2, Tackle Talk. Andrew Hayes looked far and wide for a bass fishing podcast that he liked and just couldn't find one with the perfect mix of fishing tips, gear reviews, news, and interesting guests. So he made his own. Since the first episode aired in September of 2019, Tackle Talk has grown by being different. Andrew gives honest, non-sponsored reviews and critiques of new products. Additionally, he discusses techniques for fishing for bass and occasionally even muskie. And the interviews, Bill Dance, Rick Clunn, and the inventor of the Ned rig himself, Ned Cady. He also does a great job of running down the results in the many bass fishing tournaments, the pro leagues. I am a few years behind discovering this wonderful podcast, but I have been binging it like crazy in an attempt to get caught up. And now our number 1 outdoor podcast, the Backpacking Podcast. Another podcast I am trying to get caught up on. Hosted by YouTubers John Kelly and Jeremiah Stringer, it is a podcast dedicated to backpacking. Be prepared to listen to great stories, hear from incredible guests, and laugh until your stomach hurts. Jeremiah and John share experiences and knowledge from the trail while bringing the fun back to backpacking podcasts. The main goal here is to make you smile, and you'll quickly realize that Wednesdays are the best day of the week. The podcast has evolved from two guys hanging out in a garage talking about life on the trail to also include regular live streams with other noted YouTubers and backpackers. I thoroughly love all of these podcasts, but I am really digging the backpacking podcast right now. Luke and I have some trips planned in the future, some in the Delta, and some will be out of Delta experiences. We want to go over to Mississippi. It's really only about a 30-minute drive from where we live to the DeSoto National Forest. And then we're going to go 45 minutes east of the Delta to visit Conecuh National Forest. And actually some of the creeks that run through Conecuh National Forest are tributaries to the Mobile Delta. Heading up to the north end of the state, we've already been to Cheehaw, but I want to go back because I want to hike from the bottom all the way to the summit. And then we're going to go back to the west and go to Bankhead National Forest, also known as the Sipsey Wilderness. And it also has the nickname Land of a Thousand Waterfalls. It is absolutely stunning. And who knows, we might even do some squatching. Now there are two parks that I want to go backpacking in Georgia as well. One of them is Providence Canyon, which is in the southern western corner near Eufaula, Alabama. And the other one is due east of there, and that is Cumberland Island, which is the largest undeveloped island on the eastern seaboard. They have wild horses, y'all. So we want to go do some backpacking there as well. Well, Luke is asleep on the floor over here, and I need to hit the hay. So until next time, I'm your host, Stu Donald. Let's head to the Delta.
Hey y'all, click the subscribe button and the like button at the bottom of the screen. Would you mind tapping them for me one time?